FlaSh.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the bottom left, player that definitely got a lot more cheers from the crowd just then, the Red Terran again, just to reintroduce, it is FlaSh.
Spawning where his opponent spawned last time, and now we have Solar for Samsung Khan, the ace player, the undefeated player who's taken out multiple Protosses. It's totally different spawning locations this game. Now we are spawning close horizontally, which as a Terran player, if you take that base that's just to the right of the main for FlaSh, it's really easy to defend. Run-bys, for example, baneling attacks, and that bridge may end up being a really highly contested point in this game for baneling land-bys, meatless attacks. The player on the other side of the bridge with a concave is always going to have the advantage. You never want to go into that bridge if there's something on the other side waiting for you. It's never going to be the right choice.
Yeah. Would you say that this puts the Terran at least in a better position, able to get that third base up pretty significantly safer?
I think this is personally a very favorable position for a Terran, more so than a Zerg, because the almost opposite holds true for the Zerg player for defending his third, because the Terran player is going to be able to easily come in there and attack, and then boost his medevacs back to safety, back to defend his own third against run-bys. And also, if he could just run back into that choke point and get that up while the Zerg comes to defend, then he's going to be in a great spot as well. We have identical builds, but a ton of extra drones being made here from Solar. Is it possible? Could he perhaps go double hatch before pool? He's making an extractor, so he's getting it fat gas first. I think that's probably, almost certainly going to be a pool there now, but really greedy build by him.
Yeah, adding those 2 extra drones there, being a little bit greedy. There is an extractor coming out.
We have
a refinery, I should say.
Right, a gas first for FlaSh after CC first. That's a very greedy build too. This is going to let him maybe. What I expect to see my most educated guess based on what we've seen from FlaSh already even today is that he's going to Reactor Reapers out. I think that's what we're going to see. He's going to maybe Reactor Reapers out. He could also rush Banshees.
I mean, we did see the Reactor Reaper thing once against a Protoss. It allowed him to get a ton of scouting information very early on in the game. Allowed him to see I believe it was the Chrono Boosted Blink, then the robotics later on. And against the Zerg, it can also offer you a lot of different times where you can see a lot of air tech, but we do see a factory coming out right now.
Factory coming out. Against a Zerg player, Reactor Reapers can give you a lot of information, but do you really need that much information against a Zerg player?
Probably not as
probably
much
not
as
really.
against a Protoss.
We have a reactor going down, and the factory is very quick here. So he's got a lot of aggressive potential here. Hellions especially will be out very early. Plus the economy he has. Hellions are great defensively against a Zerg player like Solar too, who has at least once already this season done the Speedling all-in. Nice, very, very quick reaction there by FlaSh to pull that depot up right in time. Still, everything is scouted, but he can be happy to know that Zergling is outside of his base.
Yeah, that annoying little Zergling is going to hit the wall a bunch of times. He sees these units building, and he's building a starport at the same time. He's hiding that FlaSh. Solar does not know this at the moment.
Yeah, he is able to gather the information that it's not. He doesn't know. He doesn't see the switch on the add-on, so 2 Marines get made before we have any Hellions coming out here, or any reactor Hellions, that is to say. And with the tech lab being made right now, it's too late for Banshees, I feel. More likely we're just going to see a quick drop here, or maybe even just medevacs to be out in general. I don't know, though. He's not making one. Could definitely be Banshees. He hides it from the Zergling, and yeah, we are going to see fast Banshees. This is something...
All the Zerg has seen is that barracks on the tech lab. Do you think that offers him any information as to what FlaSh could be doing?
It gives him an idea, but never a certainty. You can never look at this and say, okay, Banshees for sure. But he could, if he wants to play the safest way possible, he definitely wants to add Spore Crawlers to his bases right now. But he's going to be a little bit occupied with the Hellion Harass that comes out that looks totally normal. You just don't really see somebody go gas first after Command Center first in this matchup. You don't see this matchup that often in Korea in general right now in Pro League. So I'm kind of discovering this build with you as we watch this right now. And kind of reminiscent of Pult's style of Wings of Liberty TVZ. Reminds me of that a little bit, but it's still not quite the same.
Yeah, he is continuing to reactor out those Hellions. He's making those Banshees. He's about to get Cloak and have 2 of those Banshees. I wonder if he's going to go for some kind of attack with all of this, or if he's just going to try to go in with the Banshees without hiding them, try to do as much harass as he can on the mineral lines. It looks like he's sending this guy across right when the Cloak should finish, so it looks like he'll start with this.
Yep, Lair is done, and he instantly starts an Overseer. He's got that Spore Crawler up in the main, and the Queens are ready to defend the Hellions at the third base. Solid defense so far, and no damage being done here. If you haven't figured it out already from watching this, guys at home, this is a mech opening. You will be going into mech here. There's no more Marines in production. Nice transfuse there. That was beautifully done, and actually saves the Queen with his Zerglings. Solar, look out for this kid, 2014. He is unfortunately, though, going to lose the last of his Queens here, most likely to that Banshee. And FlaSh is continuing to push here.
Yeah, those are 3 Queens down now, and he has a bunch of Hellions here to help the harass. This is 1 Queen and 2 more coming over here to try to help. This is 2 Cloak Banshees. He does have the Overseer over here, but there are a lot of Hellions on the ground doing a ton of damage right now.
He's just continuing to force his way through here, and Zerglings alone are not going to cut it at the end of the day against well-microed Hellions off creep. He's trying to go for the chase here. The question is that Banshee going to finish the Queen off? It's not targeting. It does fall there at the last second.
Nice around a couple of those Hellions there. Continuing to build these Zerglings is not what Solar wants right now with these 3 bases up. He wants to be building drones. He's building 5 now. He's trying to use whatever larvae he can to make those drones.
He doesn't want to be losing drones either. I really like this flexibility to move the Spore Claw around, but whenever it's being moved and there's no anti-air nearby, the Banshee has free reign. 10 kills on this Banshee already, including Queens, including Zerglings, and the Spire that's done now is for Mutalists, which are great if you can have them this early against a player who's trying to mech, especially at these positions, but he doesn't have the minerals to continue the production. He doesn't even have Overlords right now. He's gonna, his mineral income was affected so negatively by this harassment by FlaSh, by, like you said, making Zerglings instead of drones, paying money to not make drones, that FlaSh is not dealing with as many mutas as he would normally be afraid of. And look at the turret time.
Yeah, he's ready for this. He knows this is a possibility. He's making turrets all around his base. FlaSh prepared for basically everything, getting the 1-1 upgrades for his vehicles as well.
Yeah, and that's going to stack into his era as well with the new patch. So looking solid right now. His third base seems a little bit exposed. With this many Hellions, though, it's easy to defend against ground attacks. And I don't know how many turrets he has up at his third. It looks like he's got 1, soon to be 2. Cloak Banshee's here for the defense. I like it. The same way a Protoss player would use an Oracle to help defend against Speedlings.
Yeah, there's a lot of Speedlings, though, a very large amount. He is going to try to fight with these SCVs as well, but it looks like a bunch of them are going to go down.
This is really nice play by FlaSh. I like that he just sets his SCVs instantly, minimizes the surface area, and has them set to repair automatically to minimize the damage done by the Zerglings. The Banshees are there on Cloak, so the Mutalists can't really come in and damage them. This is a different story, though, now that the SCVs are starting to fall and there's no more Cloak energy.
Yeah, being cloaked for a while, all of that energy is pretty much gone. Zerglings trying to come back in here, trying to run around, see what damage they can do. Now only 2 SCVs left at that base. These Mutalists got to be careful. They don't want to be taking this damage.
No, certainly not. 140 supply to 117 right now. FlaSh just trying to get on that comfy 3-base cushion that you want as a mech player.
He wants to float on that cloud.
He wants to
all
go
the way to the victory.
He wants to go Cloud 9 here. Here come those roaches. FlaSh takes the third base that's further away by air, which is smart for mech, which means that these roaches are, when they come through here, relatively safe to just walk through that bridge. Later on in the game, when FlaSh takes this as his 4th base, most likely it's not going to be the case. We may even possibly see FlaSh take the base that's north of his 3rd right now as his 4th, because it's so far away from the Zerg, so far away by by ground against these attacks with roaches, and also far away by air against possible more run-bys. This is a bit of a mistake by FlaSh. He needs to raise those depots, and he does not.
He's not raising the depots. We have a bunch of turrets in there, and he's going to come around from behind, but this is a lot of roaches to deal with right now.
Yeah, this is way too many roaches for his Thors to deal with alone. He needs the support of those Banshees. He needs the repair on the Thors, and so far the repair is solid. Does he get the first Thor? He does. I don't think he's going to get any more than that, but still a decent trade here, forcing more SCVs off the line. He's going to get that Banshee as well. But look at the supply for Solar drop rapidly once the Thors start to really get into their own with those Banshees, or rather the SCVs repairing them. Once the roach count starts to drop a little bit, the efficiency of the Thors goes up crazily. It's skyrockets, really. And now he's got the support of the siege tank, so the next wave of units is not going to do anything to him.
Yeah, I like the idea to come in there and try to trade units, because he does not want that mech ball to try to get up and get really, really scary. He's getting, right now, the burrow movement, as well as +2 to his weapons. Continuing with the roaches, he has a couple of those Mulists in there as well.
Burrow movement is an upgrade that we've seen in this particular tournament in Pro League actually win games for players. And you know, it's just what was on my mind right before it popped onto the production tab, is just that later, eventually in this game, it's going to be something that Solar wants. If he wants to have the ultimate efficiency with his roaches, he's going for an attack here. This is a bit risky. The setup for FlaSh is decent, but SCV is now coming off the line as well. Hellbat's tanking out the front for those siege tanks. More and more siege tanks coming out, and Solar is running headfirst into a wall here. He may have actually just lost himself this game.
That was kind of a lackluster attack. He took out one of those tanks at the south, did a bunch of damage, but really nice repairing with the SCVs once again. FlaSh on top of it, he knew it was coming, he was ready for it. And then I think Solar right now is realizing he can't just walk into the army of FlaSh with a bunch of roaches and expect to win. Not sure what was going through his mind there.
He may have thought that FlaSh was a little bit low on units because he saw only Thors and never really saw the siege tanks before, because FlaSh hid those from him. Whether intentionally or not, he just did not see the Thors, or rather the siege tanks. So maybe he thought, wow, you only have a few Thors? I can attack with roaches and end the game here. But it was a false assumption. There were a lot of siege tanks there, and Hellbats as well to support them. FlaSh really got his production up. This is now him using his Banshees really for the first time aggressively in high number. They do get those mech upgrades, and they're going to make quick work of this hatchery. Could maybe even fight the Queens. I don't know how much transfuse energy they have. He's just going to run away here.
Yeah, it takes out that hatchery. That's good. He sees that the other one is up there in the north building and is being attacked right now by a blue Hellion. But you see this massive army of FlaSh right now walking across. This is going to be incredibly hard to defend.
FlaSh is sending his Banshees home. He's doing what Protoss players do in base defense with Banshees. He's basically using these flying units that cannot be attacked as solid defense here. So many Harvesters going down. This base is forfeit. The counterattack that we see from Solar is already being prepared for right now by FlaSh. That is his one opportunity. What can he get done here? There's not really a wall setup. Some of the tanks not in siege mode. This is his moment. This is his opportunity. How much damage can he get done here?
I'm not sure how much it's going to be, but just looking over at Solar's base, it's going into tatters. So many of these drones going down as well. A bunch of tanks are going to siege up in here, or maybe not even having to, as well as these Thors in the back. It's going to be really hard to deal with.
Thors in the back doing so much damage to the Mulist. The Mulist basically the only hope for Solar here defensive-wise. He's magic boxing those Thors and trying to get the most out of the Mulist. But while he's doing that, the tanks are uncontested, walking up the ramp. GG! FlaSh wins the ace match, and KT will take the 3-2 victory.
Unbelievably played by FlaSh. Just so solid the entire game. He's going to go down those stairs and join his team at the bottom, and he deserves all the high fives he's about to get.
Sick play from FlaSh. Sick camera shot of that fire extinguisher. FlaSh was on top of this game. Solid play. Banshee defense is equivalent to Dark Templar defense when it comes to base defense, because roaches can't fire upwards, and if you try to use the Mutas to limit the Banshees, then you just cloak the Banshees. Then what are you going to do? I like that really nice use of the Banshees defensively of his bases against the roaches, and Solar lost that game more than FlaSh won it, in my opinion, for the engagement wise. The FlaSh didn't make any mistakes.
FlaSh just at every turn just so solid. You can just see it in every game.